A mother with nothing to spare was walking home through a forgotten stretch of Helena, Arkansas. Her mind fixed on two small children waiting in a house that barely deserved the name. Then she spotted it, a wrecked car, a bleeding Navy SEAL slumped against the wreckage, and his dog planted over him like a living shield. Every muscle wound tight, gaze locked forward, daring anything to step closer. And somewhere out in the dark, the men responsible were circling back. She had no safety net, no guarantees, barely enough food for her own kids, yet she chose to pull a stranger into the fragile life she'd built, never suspecting that before dawn broke, that single decision would remake everything for her and her children. Drop your city in the comments. We always want to know where you're listening from. And if stories like this one find you, hit subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Now, into it. Late evening, early June. The kind of southern night in Helena, Arkansas, where heat doesn't retreat with the sun, it just sinks lower, pressing against bare skin like something patient and heavy. The road running along the town's edge stretched thin, hemmed in by weeds that hadn't known a blade in months. Cicadas threaded their restless noise through the stillness. Somewhere far off, a shutter knocked against its frame in slow, careless rhythm. Anna Hayes moved along that road with a paper bag held close to her ribs. She carried it like it contained something irreplaceable, not a few cheap rolls and one bruised apple. Her pace was steady, but worn down by invisible weight. Shoulders pulled inward from habit, not frailty. Dark hair stuck to damp skin in the thick June air, and her hazel eyes stayed alert beneath the exhaustion, always reading the road ahead, always calculating. There was a time those hands moved with trained precision through hospital corridors. Now they scrubbed motel tile, folded sheets that belonged to strangers, and clung to whatever scrap of order each day still offered. Her thoughts drifted to Theo and Mia. Theo Hayes, 5 years old, had already learned that silence was safer than speech. He watched everything: the door, the windows, the way floorboards groaned under weight. A tiny sentry who'd assigned himself the post and decided, with absolute seriousness, never to abandon it. Mia, just 3, still inhabited a world where questions outraced answers. Her small voice never stopped. When was Mama coming back? Would there be food tonight? The house waiting for them could barely be called one. It sat where Helena trailed off into nothing, like something the town forgot to demolish. Warped wood, paint curling away in exhausted ribbons, a roof that surrendered the moment rain arrived. Inside, the floor protested every footfall, and the front door refused to latch without a chair wedged against it. But it had walls. For now, walls were enough. Anna shifted her grip on the bag, her pace sharpening. Mia's voice echoed ahead of her. "Did you bring something, Mama?" Pressing soft against her chest. Tonight, at least, she carried an answer. Then she saw it. At first, just a shape that broke the road's steady line. Something wrong with the guardrail ahead. Metal folded inward where it had no business bending. A car pitched at a bad angle, its nose crumpled against steel, like it had tried to punch through and lost. One headlight pulsed weakly, throwing jagged light across asphalt. Anna slowed. Instinct spoke first. "Keep moving. Don't step into it. Don't touch something that could swallow you whole." That voice had kept her and her children breathing for 6 months. She took another step forward anyway. The closer she moved, the sharper the scene resolved. Driver's door hanging wide open. Night air carrying the faint bite of scorched rubber, and beneath it something harsher. Metal and blood. Her breath hitched. Not just fear, recognition. She knew that smell. Then she saw him. A man caught between the car and the ground, half fallen from the driver's seat, as though the crash had frozen him mid-collapse. Even motionless, his body held a kind of defiance, trained not to surrender easily. His uniform clung dark at the shoulder, where blood spread slow and stubborn, refusing to quit. His face angled toward the pavement, stubble shadowing the hard line of his jaw. His hair cropped close, the quiet discipline of a man who'd stripped everything down to what mattered. A Navy SEAL. Anna didn't need the uniform to confirm it. Her instincts had already spoken. She took another step. The growl came low, controlled, not loud but dense enough to freeze her mid-breath. The dog materialized without sound, sliding between her and the man like that space had been claimed long before she arrived. A German shepherd, long-bodied, powerful, its dark coat catching what little light remained like coals banked beneath ash. It planted itself forward, paws locked against the earth, chest angled toward her. Blocking, claiming, warning. Tension wound through its frame like a living thing, coiled and patient. But the eyes held her still, unblinking, weighing her, deciding if she mattered or didn't. Not wild, disciplined. Anna didn't move. Her hands rose slightly, palms open. Not surrender. Honesty. The bag shifted against her arm, and she tightened her grip without breaking the dog's gaze. "Easy," she murmured, her voice lower than the darkness around them. "I'm not here to hurt him." The dog held its ground, neither advancing nor retreating. The growl stayed buried in its chest, a warning it hadn't finished giving. Anna swallowed. Her mind worked fast. Theo and Mia were waiting. The house stood close, just minutes away. She could turn back. She could leave this exactly where it was. Someone else would come along. Someone always did. But her gaze dropped, just a moment, to the man's shoulder. Blood still moving, not fast but steady. Her chest clenched in a way she hadn't felt in months. Not fear. Something older. Something that remembered fluorescent ceilings, the pulse of monitors, the quiet race against a clock no one could see. She looked back at the dog. "Quote 3, quote," she said, steadier now, though her voice never climbed. "Quote 4, quote." The dog's ears twitched. Its gaze shifted, briefly, toward the man behind it. That was enough. Anna eased one step forward. The growl deepened. She stopped cold, held her ground, let the silence stretch long between them. Sweat gathered at the base of her neck, despite the cool air. Every nerve understood how thin the margin was between permission and attack. "I know you don't trust me," she whispered. "You shouldn't." A pause, then quieter still. "But I can help him." The words hung there, fragile and bare. Behind the dog, the man shifted. Small, barely a twitch, but it split the stillness like a fracture through glass. His breathing came ragged, shallow. Each inhale fighting through something heavier than air. His lips parted, and for 1 second, it seemed like language might follow. Anna leaned closer, instinct overriding risk. The dog's body tightened, but held. His voice surfaced rough, half-formed, dragged from somewhere deep and unwilling. A pause, breath catching. Anna felt something shift. Not in the dog, not yet, but in the space between all three of them. Then the man forced out one more sentence, each word cracking apart as it left him. His head dropped as the strength drained out. And then he was gone again, pulled under. Anna didn't breathe. The night pressed closer. Somewhere beyond the quiet stretch of road, hidden by distance and dark, something else was already moving, searching. She looked at the dog, at the man, then back toward the road that led home. Theo would be standing at the door by now. Mia would be asking questions. Nobody was there to answer. Anna closed her eyes for half a second. When she opened them, the hesitation was gone. "All right," she said softly, more to herself than anyone. And this time, she stepped forward. The door swung open before Anna could catch her breath. "Mama!" Mia's voice burst through, bright and desperate at once. ___________. 14___________. Anna crossed the threshold, shifting the man's weight just enough to keep him from sliding. The room felt smaller with him inside it. The air tighter, as if the house itself hadn't been built for something this serious. Theo froze the moment he saw the man. His eyes darted. Blood, uniform, the dog planted just behind Anna. He said, softer now. Anna kept her focus down. Mia shrank back as Buddy moved deeper into the room, her small fingers clamping onto the table's edge. The dog. It looks scary. Anna's tone gentled, but her hands never stopped. That was all Theo needed. He moved. A chipped bowl, a damp cloth, the battered little box they called a first aid kit. He carried each one over and set them down with careful precision, like he already knew what seconds were worth. Behind him, Mia tugged at Anna's shirt. "Mama, did you bring food?" Anna didn't answer right away, just looked at her. Theo's eyes flicked to the paper bag, then to his sister. He reached in, pulled out a roll, tore it unevenly, and pressed the bigger half into her palm. "Eat first." Quiet. Final. Mia took the bread in both hands and nibbled without another word. Anna worked, her hands steady now. Everything else fell away, just the wound, the rhythm of breath, pressure and timing. "Hold this." Theo pressed where she pointed, jaw clenched, fighting the urge to pull back. She cut the fabric just enough. The wound ran deep. A slow exhale to center herself. "All right, stay with me." Barely a whisper. The metal tweezers trembled once, then her grip locked. A sharp breath from Theo. A quiet whimper from Mia. The bullet slid free and struck the rim of the bowl with a dull, flat sound. Silence held the room. "Good," she breathed, more for herself than anyone. She cleaned the wound, closed it, wrapped it tight. The bleeding eased. His breathing settled, just barely. But Anna already knew. This wasn't enough. The words landed heavy. Everyone understood what they meant. They didn't have one. Night closed in tighter. The sounds outside shifted. Insects still chirped, but something else threaded through. Distant, mechanical. Then headlights swept across the window. Anna's whole body went rigid. The light didn't pass. It stopped. A truck. Close, too close. A door slammed, then another. A knock came hard, not asking permission. Anna moved without pause. Behind the cabinet. Sharp, low. Theo seized Mia's hand and pulled her into the narrow gap. The box shifted as they pressed in together, wood groaning softly beneath them. Anna turned back, dragging Ryan just far enough to tuck him behind the kitchen cabinet's edge. His weight fought her, but she forced him into place. Buddy was already ahead of her. He stepped forward and planted himself between the hidden space and the door. Silent, still, ready. Another knock, harder, then a kick. The door shuddered in its frame. "Mama!" Mia's voice shook. Anna straightened. Every instinct screamed to stay hidden. She stepped forward instead. If they came in searching, they'd find everything. She yanked the door open just as another blow landed against it. "You planning to break it down, or you going to knock like normal people?" Annoyance sharp in her voice, sitting right where fear wanted to be. Two men stood on the porch. The first one offered a slow, crooked grin. "Relax, ma'am. Just looking to grab a beer." Anna let out a clipped breath, almost a scoff. "A beer? And you kick my door like that for water?" She glanced past the broken frame of the house, then back at them. "Take a look around. Does this place look like it's got beer?" The second man chuckled, low, dry. "Yeah, guess you got a point." A beat passed. Then the first one tilted his head, still smiling. "All right then. Mind if we step inside a minute? Just making sure everything's all right. Looks like your husband ain't home." Anna didn't move. Simple. Flat. She gestured loosely behind her. His smile didn't fade. If anything, it sharpened. "Won't take long," already shifting his weight forward. The other one stepped up beside him, not asking any more. They were coming in. And just as they started to push past her, something stepped forward from the dark behind her. Buddy moved, fast. A growl, low, thick, almost mechanical, poured out of him as he planted himself in the doorway. He split the distance between Anna and the two men clean down the middle. Both of them stopped. "Damn, place like this and you still got a dog?" One said it with half a grin, eyes tracking Buddy, like he wasn't sure yet what category to put him in. Anna let out a breath, barely there. 39. Her voice carried nothing. The second man leaned forward, narrowing the gap by a step. Underscore, underscore, quote underscore, 41 underscore underscore. Anna offered a thin smile and lowered her hand to Buddy's neck, easy, unhurried, like she'd done it 1,000 mornings on the porch. Under her palm, she felt it, every muscle locked. A body wound past ready, past waiting, just held. She ran her hand along his coat, slow and even, the way you'd settle any pet. Then, barely above silence, words meant only for him. "Easy, boy. They've got guns. Don't move." One more second of coiled stillness. Then Buddy changed. The growl dissolved. He sat, tongue out, tail drifting side to side, lazy, soft, dumb. The shift was so complete, it didn't feel real. He stepped forward, and before either man could flinch, he was up, paws against one of them, tongue dragging across the man's jaw like a dog who'd never learned manners. The man shoved him back. The other one laughed. Buddy dropped to all fours, tail still swinging, eyes soft now. At least on the surface. The tension cracked, just enough to breathe through. One of them said. Anna shrugged, light, easy. She gave Buddy a small pat. Buddy's tail picked up. A soft sound left his throat, agreeable, harmless. The men looked at each other. One stepped back. "All right, we'll keep looking." He turned, then stopped, looked back at Anna. The amusement was gone from his face now. "If you do see something, you tell us." His voice dropped half a register. "You don't want to be mixed up in things you don't understand." Anna held his eyes. "I don't." She said it flat, final. They left. The truck turned over. The engine noise bled into distance, then nothing. Only when the night settled back into its own silence did Anna's legs soften beneath her. Her hand found the doorframe just in time. Behind her, Mia released the sob she'd been clenching between her ribs. Theo drew his sister closer, one hand on her shoulder, steadying her, steadying himself. Anna shut the door, slid the latch home with fingers that wouldn't stop shaking. Then she crossed the room fast, dropped to her knees in front of them, and pulled both children against her chest. __quote _5 4 _____. Low voice, steady hands, or hands pretending to be steady. One smoothed through Mia's hair. The other pressed firm against Theo's shoulder. She held them longer than the moment required, as though releasing them too soon might invite the danger back through the walls. She stayed like that until their breathing found a slower rhythm. Then she loosened her arms and stood. ___quote _56 ___, she said, her hand brushing Theo's shoulder once more before she turned toward the kitchen. The children trailed behind, quieter now, but the fear still lived in the way they moved. "Mama, who were they?" Mia's voice was small again. Anna didn't turn around. "Bad men," she said softly, "and they won't be coming back tonight." She knelt beside the man on the floor, pressed 2 fingers to his throat, counted without thinking. The pulse was there, faint, thin, but holding. "You hear me?" she whispered. "You need to tell me who to call." Nothing came back. Just breathing that didn't quite belong to the room. Then something pressed against her arm. Buddy. No sound, just his muzzle pushing into the man's jacket. Once, then again, harder. Anna watched him. "You want me to look?" she murmured. The dog gave her nothing, but he didn't stop nudging. She slipped her hand into the pocket, slow, careful. Cold metal met her fingertips. She drew it out. A tag. She tilted it toward what little light the room offered. Ryan Cole. The name landed somewhere deep, heavier than 2 words had any right to be. Below it, 3 more. K9 partner. Buddy. Anna exhaled, quiet, almost a laugh, the kind that comes from exhaustion finding something unexpected. She turned her head, lowering her hand toward him. She said, softer now. Her hand settled on him, careful, gentle. His tail swept back and forth, slow and sure. She dug into the pocket again. More this time, dog tags, a worn coin heavier than it should have been. She turned it over. Numbers. A contact. Not the kind meant for ordinary calls. Anna stared at it for a long second, then reached for the phone. Theo watched her from across the room. "Who is he?" Anna didn't look up. The line rang once, twice. A voice answered, calm, direct. Anna tightened her grip on the receiver. Silence. Not empty silence, the kind that listens hard. The voice asked. She told him. She added quickly, a pause. The call ended. Theo shifted his weight from one foot to the other. Anna nodded, barely. Time stretched thin. Every minute pulled longer than it had any right to. Mia sat close now, leaning against her side, quiet in a way that didn't belong to a 3-year-old. Theo stood near the window, not looking out, listening. Then lights. Not one set, several. They swept across the house, cutting through thin walls like those walls were nothing. Engines followed, low, controlled. No sirens. Anna stood slowly. "This is them," she said. Theo didn't ask how she knew. The knock came firm, measured, nothing like before. Anna opened the door. Men stepped inside quickly, movements precise, attention already fixed on the man behind her. No wasted motion, no raised voices. One of them, older, steady, carrying authority without needing to announce it, stopped in front of her for a brief moment. Anna nodded. He gave a short glance across the room, worn furniture, patched walls, children standing close together. Then he moved on. He said, "They worked fast. Within seconds, Ryan was lifted, secured, assessed. Buddy stayed close, alert but steady, watching them work like he already knew these were his people." As they carried Ryan toward the door, the dog followed, then paused. Just a moment. He turned his head, looked at Anna, then at the children. A quiet, steady look. Then he moved again, jumped into the vehicle without hesitation. Outside, the night shifted with the weight of men who knew exactly what they were doing. The older man stepped back inside. His gaze settled on Anna again. 79, he said. No praise, just fact. Anna crossed her arms slightly, more to hold herself steady than anything else. He nodded once, looked around again, slower this time. He said, Anna let out a thin breath. A faint pause, then he spoke again. Theo stepped closer to her. He said, Mia looked up at Anna. Anna didn't answer right away. Her eyes moved across the room, cracked walls, the chair by the door, the small table where meals were never enough. Everything they had, everything that had barely held together. Then she looked at her children and made the only choice that still made sense. Yes, she said quietly, we are. The ride passed in silence. The house disappeared behind them without ceremony, without anything to mark its absence. They didn't stop for long. Another place, clean, still. Lights that didn't flicker. A door that closed without needing to be forced. Mia stepped inside first, her hand brushing along the wall. It's warm, she whispered. Theo stayed near the doorway, scanning the space like he was waiting for something to go wrong. Anna stepped in last. The door closed behind her. For the first time in months, she didn't reach for something to block it. 5 days later, the knock was different. Not urgent, not sharp, just steady. Anna opened it. Ryan stood there. Not fully recovered, she could see it in the way he held himself, careful with certain movements, but upright, present. Beside him, Buddy stood quiet, already familiar with the space, as if he'd been there more than once. Behind her, Mia shifted closer, half hiding. Theo didn't move back. He just watched. Ryan dropped lower, letting his voice fall to something gentler. __, quote _ 90 __. Mia edged out a fraction more. A quiet smile crossed his face. __, quote _ 91 __. A small laugh slipped out of her before she caught it. Ryan reached into a bag he'd brought along. Thought I should make that right. He passed her something wrapped with care. Then he turned to Theo, holding out a toy helicopter. Simple, but built with enough detail to earn respect. Theo accepted it slowly, rotating it between his fingers. This is real? Ryan gave a single nod. Close enough. Silence settled between them, not the hard kind.